Ruben Amorim has just been sacked by Manchester United. This happened just a few hours ago, and I think this was going to happen based on what happened yesterday in the interview where he said he was the manager and not the head coach. And you have to say that this should probably have happened since. Maybe this is a bit too late, and I think the circumstances behind this happening are interesting because ultimately, for me, I think every manager should be judged based on the results, not just based on everything that they say to press conference, to the board, to the fans. I think this should always be about results. And you have to say that the results were not there. The results were atrocious. The records are not good for Ruben Amorim. So I don't think he has that much to even defend himself with. But you also have to consider the fact that the board have been very interesting. And this is the same process that keeps going on and on and on. And if there's anything that's even happening, Manchester United are getting even worse. So it's not just the coach, it's not just the manager, it's not just the players. You also have to look at the board. So to me, I think there's a combination of so many things, and that's exactly what Manchester United are feeling right now. But I'm going to start by talking about the manager himself. Now, guys, I think we need to remember what Manchester United is. I'm not a Manchester United fan. I do not like them because I'm a Liverpool fan. I want Liverpool to always win leagues and everything. But I think people forget, or maybe some people don't realize the stature of Manchester United because of how far they've fallen off over the past 13 years. This is a team that's joint top for most league titles in English football history. I hope you guys understand the gravity of that. This is also a team that has 3 Champions League titles. So yes, the fact that things haven't gone well over the past 13 years since Sir Alex Ferguson left does not mean that this club is not supposed to be at the top. So let's state out Ruben Amorim's stats in 14 months where he was the head coach of this team. Number 1, this guy had a win percentage of 38.71. 38.71. What does that mean? He won less than half of his games. When you are going to be a champion of any competition, you need to win at least 70% of your games, and we're talking about almost half of that, just above half of that. And people are saying, yes, this guy was good, this and that, like he should stay, he should implement some things. And I'm looking at it like the most important thing for me will always be results. So to have a 38.71% win percentage is terrible for a club like Manchester United. Now, not just that, 24 wins, 17 draws, 21 losses in 62 games. His Premier League win rate is even worse. This is the most successful Premier League team in history. And his win percentage is a woeful 32.61%. Guys, what are we talking about here? This is a manager who is failing, or who has been failing for the past 14 months. So I don't think people should say, oh, Ruben Amorim should not have been sacked. I think there are reasons why we could say that, but I don't think it's based on results. And to me, first and foremost, as a coach, as a manager, your first job is to get results, and the results are not there. Now, let's even just add the fact that they finished 15th last season. 1-5. Bottom of the third quarter of the whole league. That means a position below and they would have been in the bottom 5. Guys, that is terrible. For the standards that Manchester United have, that is very, very, very terrible. So I don't think that this should not have happened. I think this should have happened for a while. Now, I think the circumstances for him coming to the club and how he managed everything, I think that's really bad. But one thing I also want to mention is that he had a very terrible lack of flexibility. And I think as a coach, you need to have flexibility. It's something that you need to change. Like, you see a game not going the way you want it to go, you have to change a few things. And that's one thing that I liked about Slot last season, not this season. Last season. Please let me be clear about that. Last season. Because you could see that when something wasn't going right, or something wasn't going the way you wanted it to go, or a team had figured something out, he would make some changes, whether it was the formation, whether it was the players, whether it was the style of play. So you have to change things. And Ruben Amorim just seemed like the guy who was going to stick to principles no matter what. Now, there are positives and negatives of that, but to me, like I said, the most important thing is results. And Manchester United should not have a 30-something percent win percentage. It's terrible. It's just absolutely poor. And the system, the 3-4-2-1 system. I'm not even going to tell you that it's a bad formation or something. There are people who have won leagues with three defenders at the back with wing backs. It's possible. You can do it, but clearly it's not working. It hasn't worked. And when you're misprofiling so many players, putting them in weird positions. Bruno is a number 10, but he's playing in the midfield as one of the two. And you're even lucky he was getting so many assists and goals this season, because he could have been more influential ahead of that position, playing as a 10. But the system does not have a 10. And then you now have a Mount or an Mbeumo or a Cunha playing on the wings. This doesn't make too much sense, in my opinion. Don't force it. If something isn't working, then change it. And he only changed that once in 14 months. So you have to say that his way of not changing things, or his lack of flexibility, for me, was a problem. And I'm not even a Manchester United fan. I don't even want Manchester United to be that successful. But there's only so much hate you can have for a team. And I'm looking at them and I actually even feel bad for them at this point. The fact that you came 15th last season is already enough. Yes, they finished above Tottenham and they lost the Europa League final. But look at what happened to Tottenham. Tottenham won the Europa League final and finished below them. That was their first trophy in many, many years. We always laugh at Tottenham like, oh, you don't win trophies. But they literally just won a trophy on Manchester United's head. And guess what? They sacked their manager, who objectively achieved more than Amorim last season. So I'm not even going to tell you that, there shouldn't have been, or he should have stayed for longer. I think he was a terrible failure last season. Yes, you also have to say that he didn't get the players he wanted. Now, that's where I think the board comes in, because the board have also failed and they've been failing for the past years. But you see how he spoke about this manager thing yesterday night. I have to say that that's absolute rubbish. And I'm saying that because every website I checked just now says Ruben Amorim was appointed as the head coach. So yes, you are not the manager. You were not the manager, Ruben Amorim. You were not. So I think that's a very interesting thing to say. So that whole statement about being the manager and not the coach, I don't agree with that. But the transfer debates, really, he wanted certain players. I know he wanted Ollie Watkins and he ended up getting Sesko. I know he may have I think he wanted Yorkers at some point. And let's just say that he hasn't gotten the best players. These are not players who should be playing for Manchester United, respectfully. Manchester United, like I said, should be at the top. And I think they're too used to mediocre behavior or results now that they're accepting just anyone and anything. And then he's had issues with so many players. And I'm not trying to say that some of the players may not be at fault. There are always two sides to a story. But you have to say that this is a manager who is having issues with players. He's having issues getting the formation right, having issues getting good results. What positive thing have you seen from Manchester United under Ruben Amorim? Now, you can also say, to be fair to him, they're currently 6, 3 points off 4th position. But I can also say the truth that the rest of the league, apart from Manchester United, apart from Man City, Arsenal, and Aston Villa, have been really poor. By the standards they should be up to. Look at Liverpool, 14 points behind Arsenal. They've won only 50% of their games. And they sit 4th. 3 points ahead of Manchester United. So let's not make it look like, they're so close to 4th and they're doing well. No, the rest of the league, the rest of the teams that are not challenging for the title have really been poor. It's almost like they don't even want the top 4. So that's also something that we have to put into consideration. And, he spoke about the hierarchy, spoke about being sacked at some point. I just look at that and I think he has some points. But the fact that we've seen managers like Jose Mourinho sacked, Ralph Rangnick gone, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gone. Yeah, I know he was not probably the best manager looking forward, but these are managers who have said some things or shown some spark of hope, and this is a process that keeps going on and on and on. This guy was supposed to be there for at least 3 years, and he's gone in 14. And it's so interesting because he actually brought the team up from 15th to 6th before he left. But you have to say that how many times do they want to go over this coaching situation? So now the question is, who are the options? Right now, it's Darren Fletcher that's taking over for a while, and I think he will bring the hope back. Manchester United having a former player, playing the Manchester United way, changing the formation, going to attack, which they should be doing on a normal day. So that's a good thing for Manchester United to me. But now, Who are the options? Xavi? Now, the reason I don't even think Xavi is a good suit for this team is because he was sacked at Barcelona for the exact same reason that Ruben Amorim has been sacked. He spoke against the board, or he spoke about something that he was not being backed by the board. And it was also about transfers. So, do you really think that maybe Xavi is a better manager for them? I don't even think so. Like, I genuinely do not even think so. Who else could be there? Like, I'm trying to think of anyone else that could be the manager. Oliver Glasner. I think Oliver Glasner would speak. He literally said it for Crystal Palace that if a player was sold, he was going to go. So you're going to find people who are not going to agree with the board, and once you don't agree with the board, you're sacked. And that's exactly what happened with Amorim. It was not even about the results. It was about the fact that he didn't agree with the board and he was speaking up. So the question now is, who is the right person? As a Manchester United fan, do you think this was the right decision? And what is the way going forward? I think the change does not just have to come from the manager. In fact, the manager was not even the first person that needed to be changed. Because what's happened is every change that comes when it comes to the manager or the head coach has gotten worse. So who's appointing these guys? It's the people at the top. And Manchester United fans for the longest time have been complaining about these guys. But that's all I have to say for this one. Who do you guys think is going to be the next manager? Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.